Italian Zeppoles. They're Italian donuts. It's a deep-rooted love back from when I was a child, going to these fairs as a kid. You know, they had funnel cake and Italian Zeppoles. They're Italian donuts, essentially. They are usually served in a brown bag, shaken in a ton of powdered sugar, and they're just coated with it. And you eat them, and you choke on the powdered sugar, and you get it all over yourself, but it's heaven. I've actually never made it. This is a bit of a blend of a few recipes I found on the internet. So we're gonna give this a shot. I'm looking at like San Gennaro street fair carnival style Zeppoles. It starts with a pot of choux, which is basically like a pastry dough that starts on the stove. Get a batter going, fry these off in some oil, and get powdered sugar everywhere. This is one of my favorites, so I'm hoping this works out because I really want to eat some good Zeppoles right now. So let's just get right into it. What you're gonna need is one of these to make it easier if you don't have a KitchenAid. These work really well. Otherwise, you can do it with your hand. It's just gonna it's gonna be tiring. So let's just talk about the dry ingredients first. We have a half cup of granulated sugar. No measurement for powdered sugar. This is just for dusting them at the end, but I want a lot. A cup of flour that I took a butter knife and leveled it out. You want it lightly in the measuring cup and you don't want to kind of compress it down. Level it off. I just sifted it through a mesh strainer to kind of get it all nice and granular. I've got 3 eggs, which I just want to crack. We don't need to beat them now. We're gonna beat them with the hand mixer. And we wanna add them one at a time. So we're gonna sort of leave them as is. We're gonna start at the stove and make the pot of choux, and then we're gonna come back here and put the dough together. You're gonna need a pot, you're gonna need water, you're gonna need a stick of butter, a little bit of salt, sugar, and the flour. We're gonna add a stick of butter to the pot, unsalted butter, a cup of the water, half cup sugar, pinch of salt. And what we want to do is bring this to a boil. Once it gets boiling and all melted together, give it a mix. Reduce it down to like a medium, a lower heat, and then we're gonna throw in all of the flour at once. We're gonna cook it for about like 3 to 4 minutes until it comes together as this ball and sort of has like a little glisten to it. And then we're gonna remove it from the stove and finish it over here. Just let it cool for like 3-4 minutes. You don't want to add eggs to this right out of the pan or else you're gonna cook the eggs. That's not what we want. So just let it cool for a second. A quart of oil that I put into a large Dutch oven. You want a heavy bottomed sort of high quality pot for this. You don't want a cheap one because you're not gonna be able to regulate the temperature. You wanna cook these at a higher temperature at like 360, 375. The lower you cook it, you risk them kind of absorbing the oil and becoming greasy. So you want a good pan that's gonna maintain its heat. And I've also got a little thermometer that I'm gonna be monitoring the temperature to make sure it stays in that 360 to 375 range. And if it cools down, I can bump the heat up. If it gets too high, I lower the heat. We're not using industrial fryers here and they can regulate themselves. So we have to regulate it manually if we want to be good at frying stuff at home. Using the Maverick. If you have trouble figuring out which thermometers are good, I'm gonna leave a link down below to the best one that I've used. It's instant read. It can measure high temperatures like frying oil. So this is a good one to have. I needed a bigger bowl. All right, these are cooled about enough. What I want to do is add the eggs one at a time and then make sure they're completely incorporated into the batter before adding the next one. I added 2 at the same time. Okay, I mean, I think this looks pretty good. I've got a little ice cream scoop. What I'm gonna do is kind of dip it in the oil first, just so it's easy for it to release. And we're gonna test one of these guys out to see if it worked. So this batter made about like 35 Zeppoles. Nice and fluffy inside. And what you do is you go with another tablespoon on top. Childhood. Nice and fluffy and airy inside. Have a little crisp on the outside, and you have a nice little bag of donuts. There's a few ways you could do it. You could do cinnamon sugar, roll it in regular granulated sugar if you want. I prefer powdered sugar. It's how I always remember it. You know, maybe it's just traditional to me. So there you have it. A fun little Italian donut that really takes you back. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Hit my first dessert today, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I'm no dessert expert. Also, I have another video out today. It's running on Adrenaline Barbecue Company's channel. I'll leave the link down below, so go check that out. Make sure you're subscribed to ABC Barbecue, and go check them out. You're gonna learn a lot from that channel. Anyways, other than that, hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.